Ross, international, getting a 7th, and down in 8th is Peter Brunt, followed by Craig in 9th, and then Marius looks like he only managed a 10th position there. So we see the guys lining up on the grid now, and the clock will start sinking down. And we're just waiting for those lights to go out. There's the sync we've been waiting for. And it's lights out, and away we go. And a good start there from the BMW, and there's VW. Ooh, it tags the back of Dylan. A very close encounter there on the first lap. And they haven't even reached the first corner, and then a bit of a argy-bargy already as Dylan dives into the inside, gets a good, clean entrance and exit. And we see VW battling there. And he comes together. Oh, we have an incident in the background. It's Marius and Robert coming together. And it looks like both cars are out of this one with serious damage to the front of Marius's car there. And I'm not sure if Robert will be able to continue any further. We can see some major damage to the front and the rear of their vehicle. But it's out in front. Dylan is now taking the lead, followed by Gerard in 2nd position. Durkee slips down to 3rd. The Horn Dog in 4th. Terry up into 5th, and looks like that is Ross down in 6th at the moment. And right at the back of the grid we have Peter Brunt and looks like Craig's first race of the season. So he'll be getting to grips with the touring cars and catching up to these guys out in front here at the moment who have plenty of experience. As we see now, Quicksilver, that's Durkee getting past V-Dub, and now chasing down Dylan. Dylan with half a second gap, but he's got some pressure with Durkee in his mirrors at the moment. So far, so good for Dylan, as he has Durkee in his mirrors, but Durkee not able to close that gap just yet. And we see V-Dub now slowly losing pace to these guys out in front, who's starting to open up a bit of a gap. And it just shows you the difference between the front wheel and the rear wheel drive. It's a lot trickier to drive, the rear wheel drive that is. But we end the first lap, and it's still out in front is Dylan. And will Durkee have a look on the inside? He doesn't. But there we see the Horn Dog now having a look on the inside. Oh, almost touches Gerard there, as seems to be much quicker through that section, as the front wheel drives are able to keep the power down. And still out in front, Dylan managed to keep it. Looks like Durkee having a look on the inside, taking a very interesting position on the track. And maybe Dylan just went a little bit wide there, but holding that defensive line. So you see now Durkee going out the outside, trying to get that slingshot out of that corner. And will he have a good run down this long straight? He slips in behind Dylan to try and get that slipstream. But it looks like Dylan has enough gap on him just to keep him behind. But that gap is now closing. Will we see Durkee go on the inside? Nope. Dylan closes the door, goes good defensive line, and you see how the field is now bunching up as these two in front are now fighting each other. Dylan goes a little bit wide, but back on the defense again. As we see now the Horn Dog getting past Gerard and going wide himself. That allows for Gerard to get past again. So a good battle between the top 5 here at the moment. And we see Terry now joining in the battle as well, as he also snuffs an opportunity. Ooh, we see Gerard there. Ooh, what happened there? Bit strange, a little bit of an internet blip, but looks like everybody's okay. But now we see the Horn Dog and Gerard coming together, and that looks like it is definitely some sort of internet blip that's causing that issue. So Dylan going on the defense, very defensive, as he tries to break that slipstream. But Gerard now with the outside line, and Dylan braking very late into the first corner there, losing a bit of momentum, but manages to keep that position ahead of Durkee. 2 laps down, 15 minutes to go, and an epic battle between these two mates. So I've just noticed that Dylan has picked up a penalty, so he will need to get to move on if he would like to. That's a 1 second penalty, not too bad. As we go back to the action, looks like Quicksilver has managed to get past Dylan there. But Dylan still has the inside line. Will he try tucking behind and try to take Durkee on the outside? Durkee goes defensive. And now these two cars side by side as they go through this very technical section. Will Dylan get inside? Oh, he just has to brake there for Durkee. And Durkee gets past and is on his way. So a good battle between the two drivers there. We see now Terry up into 4th position after getting past the Horn Dog. Horn Dog going slightly wide there after making contact with Gerard. And let's watch that Mercedes-Benz, because we know how fast it is towards the end of the race. We've seen him at Brands Hatch where towards the end of the race he was catching the guys, so that car seems to come alive and handle better at the end of the race. So if he can just hold on to this front field, he has a really good chance to make up some position towards the end of this race. So Durkee now starting to open up a little bit of a gap now between himself and Dylan out in front. Dylan now got his mirrors full with Gerard, now coming to grips with the vehicle and making that BMW work. Get it ever so closely to Dylan. But Dylan seems to have the upper hand through the corners. But it's just on those long straights where the BMW just seems to have the extra legs. And I think that's where it helps, just to close the gap between the BMW and the Renault. Oh, there we see, looks like the Terry just having a look. And is that car starting to come alive now? Is he finding a little bit more pace? Looks like he's much stronger through this tighter section here, as he closes that gap now between himself and Gerard. Now Gerard coming under pressure from Terry. And Terry looking for a way past here, and Gerard is keeping that BMW as wide as possible. Late on the brakes is Terry, as he tries to look on the inside. And will he try and make a pass here? No. He decides to back off a bit. And just bide his time. There's still 11 minutes left on the clock here. As Terry has another look on the inside. Will he get a good run down the main straight here and try get that slipstream behind Terry? Sorry, behind Gerard. So we have completed lap 5. Durkee now with a good commanding leader, 1 second lead already. And Dylan just keeping on. Just keeping Durkee in his sights. Anything could happen. And we've seen it time and time again. So a good wide entry into that corner there. Goes very wide onto the rubble strip there, and you might pick up another penalty for that as well. Some good times we've seen here. There's even 207s. That is mighty quick. So Terry now getting ever so close to the back of Gerard there. Will he have a look on the inside, almost side by side of these guys going into... Oh, Terry goes in a very... Whoa, what happened there? Looks like VW is definitely some streaming issues there, and that's causing some havoc for some of the drivers who are very close to him. And that can only be caused by a internet connection that is has a very high ping rate. So Terry now looking on the inside of Gerard. Will he try and make a dive? Does look ever so close. It looks like he's much closer now. Will he try and make it stick as they go down the main straight? No, Terry decides to tuck in behind and try to get that slipstream. And VW tries to break that slipstream by swerving around. And you can just see the BMW has those extra pair of legs when it comes down to this long straight. But in the corners, oh, and there we see Terry losing control of the vehicle, trying a little bit too hard to get too close to Gerard, and now dropping right back in the field. And that has cost him dearly, now dropping down to 6th position. That's now moved the Horn Dog back into 4th position. But still out in front we have Durkee with now with a almost 2-second gap. And he seems to be very comfortable at the moment, ever increasing his lead to Dylan. So Durkee out in front, followed by Dylan, who had a very good start, managing to get himself up into 1st position. And it looks like Durkee's now picked up a penalty as well. So just on 7 minutes left of the first race, as we see Terry now looking very strong, trying to get that car back into up the field again. But it is a big ask. He has unfortunately made a bit of a mistake, and that's dropped him right back to 6th position. But can you close that gap? And just to remind it to the folks that there will be a reverse grid on the 2nd race, so we will see Terry, if he finishes in this position, starting in the front of the grid for the 2nd race. But that race is going to be quite exciting with the track being wet and slippery, with unpredicted rain in the desert. So we see the Horn Dog out in front here with chasing down V-Dub, who has a pretty clean race so far, is the only one of the top runners that hasn't picked up a penalty so far. Now we see Dylan giving the flash to Durkee, so Durkee has now slowed down, so I wonder if he's now picked up some sort of penalty and is trying to get rid of that penalty, and that's allowed for Dylan to close that gap. So putting a bit of pressure on himself, making a little bit of mistake, and that's allowed this battle to continue again. So we see Dylan getting very close to the back of Durkee, sniffing a possible win here in the touring cars this evening, as you see them start now the 8th lap with just over 5 minutes left on the clock. We should see at least another 2 or 3 laps. You see Dylan then giving a little flash to say, how's it? I'm here in your mirrors, bud. We see Dylan taking a very wide line there, looking for a way past, but actually by doing that has compromised his race line and has dropped back a bit, so not really worth it trying to distract your opponent like that. But yeah, Gerard and the Horn Dog getting much closer now to Gerard and challenging for that podium, that final podium, the 3rd position. Gerard keeping it neat and tidy. He has had some internet related issues this evening. We've seen him jumping up and down the stream, but still managed to stay connected and is in 3rd position at the moment, with the Horn Dog chasing him very closely. This battle out in front still raging on between Durkee and Dylan. Dylan ever so close again. So it looks like Dylan's found a little bit more pace in the final half of this race. Ooh, he gets very close there. Looks like a bit of almost a touch there between the two. So Dylan going much later into the braking section there, getting very close to Durkee now. As we see Durkee and Dylan starting, I would say, the penultimate lap. I'm sure we're going to get another 2 more laps out of this race. Will he be able to tuck in behind Durkee, get that slipstream? Will he try and make a dive on the inside? You see flashing in the lights there, trying to distract his opponent. Goes slightly wide, just needs to hug that apex a little bit more. And a much better line through this section here, holding on to the back of Durkee, not making a mistake, and this is where he's able to capitalize. So you see him getting ever so closely now to Durkee. Will we see take the wider line and come in? Durkee covers him off. He just needs to try keep in distance and try tuck him behind Durkee now and get that slipstream behind along this long straight. But he just doesn't seem to be close enough to make any difference on that slipstream. Interesting lines between the two drivers. You see Durkee going very defensive, whereas Dylan using every part of the track if possible. And this is where Dylan seems to be stronger on the brakes as we come through this final section, where it's a kind of a very difficult bend to maneuver, and still that gap between Dylan and Durkee just half a second, as they would now start their final lap, I assume. One more lap, Dylan. Let's see what you can do. And Durkee will be looking in his mirrors. So you see them coming through the first corner. Good defensive line. Dylan getting very close to the back of Durkee there. Will he try and make a move now on the outside? No, it just seems to lose momentum through this section. Whereas Durkee keeps very composed and keeps on the racing line. Very neat and tidy from Durkee as he comes through that tight section. Gets on the curb there. Oh, yeah, we see a battle between Ross and the Horn Dog. Horn Dog seems to have made a mistake somewhere and now losing position. As we see Ross and the Horn Dogs side by side as they go down through the long back straight. And let's see who's going to outbrake who at this hairpin. And we see somebody on the brakes, and Ross making sure that he doesn't drive into the side of the Horn Dog, so being a little bit overcautious there, and has kind of lost a little momentum. Ooh, we see there what happened there. Looked like Durkee and Dylan were getting very close. What's that? Dylan trying to lunge, a last lunge attempt to try to get past Durkee, because he seems to drop back a bit. He was much closer to Durkee. And I think that was his last attempt to try to get past Durkee, and unfortunately was unsuccessful. But let's see now. I'm not sure who's got the most penalty time here. But let's see what happens when they cross the start-finish line. And it's Durkee who takes the win, followed by Dylan in second position. Across the line is V-Dub, and he takes the final position there, followed by the Horn Dog, then Ross down in fifth, Terry in sixth position, and we're just waiting for Peter Brunt and Craig to come through the final corners. Looks like a good battle between these guys this evening as well, as they come into the final corner. Craig looking on the inside. Will he try and make a lunge? He goes slightly too hot in that corner and finishes down in 8th position. So wow, what an interesting race there. Dylan picking up a 5-second penalty in the end there, but bringing it home in second position. And Durkee, the driver of that session, but look at those times, those best times. Very close together between Dylan and Quicksilver. But Durkee taking the win there. And they're in third position with Gerard, followed by the Horn Dog and Ross. Alright guys, we are back for the second race, and just a reminder, it will be reverse grid, and if you look in your top right hand corner there, a bit of light rain. So miracles will happen. It does rain in the desert sometime. It's called cloud seeding. Technology is amazing nowadays, but the technology is failing us this evening, as we are unable to bring you a live broadcast due to some technical difficulties with the streaming server. But we will post this race a bit later on, either this week So you guys will get to see a nice, clean, smooth, and fantastic, exciting race. So you see the guys now taking off. There's Terry, thinks he's leading Le Mans here, but I think he's just remembered that he has to get in position to start the second race. So Brandon, have you done any laps this evening? I'm gonna pull you into the commentary box here. And what were your lap times?
I managed to just get into the 9 seconds. So yeah, that's not the best, but I think for Bravo should be okay. The wet is a very different story though.
I'm feeling a little bit better. Just slightly better, because I'm pretty much doing the same times. But comparing to these Alpha Tier guys, they are on a different level altogether. I mean, we saw a time there of almost a 2:06 by Durkee and by Dylan. And that's pretty quick compared to the Bravo guys. But it's going to be an interesting race now. We're going to see some bit of slick rain on the track. And we see Marius out in the back there, and hoping he'll get a better start this time and not end up having an accident with one of the drivers. Not to say that it was his fault. It was a very unlucky situation, and unfortunately both him and Roberts not able to complete the rest of the race.
Have you done any wet practice yet?
I did a little bit of wet practice. I did a bit of a simulation race, and I managed a 2:minute 19, I think it was.
Yeah, so I float around the 2:20, 2:19, depending on the lap.
So yeah, the first couple of laps, the track is slightly dry, so you will get those times. But as the race progresses, you'll see the track gets a little bit more slick. As we see the guys now starting the races, they come over the start-finish line. In front we have Terry, followed closely by Ross. Ross now looking on the inside. Will he try and make a lunge? Nope, he manages to just stay behind Terry. Terry now still out in front and leading this race so far, followed by the Horn Dog in third position, and Gerard. Good side-by-side battle here, but Dylan and Durkee managed to get past there. Looks like he's made the move stick. But look at that spray already. So the track quite damp at the moment, and the water now spraying up, and it'll make it very tricky in those conditions just to see where you're going, especially if you're quite close behind a car. In the background we have Peter Brunt, and we see Morris now coming through the field as he managed to overtake Craig there on the outside. So a good start there by Morris, making up 2 positions in the first lap. And looks like 3 cars side by side. Whoa, we'll see a little bit of bump there. Looks like Durkee missed his braking spot and just touched the back of Dylan, but Dylan managed to hold on to control of that vehicle and still out in the third position. Sorry, that was Ross. My apologies, that was Ross. So it was Durkee that just got caught out there by Ross, braking slightly earlier than normal. And now Ross has his mirrors full with Gerard. Gerard looking on the outside. Will he try and make a move now on the inside? As we see Durkee again coming flying through the inside and making a bit of contact there with those 2 drivers. And he just needs to be patient. It's still 15 minutes left on the clock. You don't always win these races in the first lap. So you see there was Ross and Gerard getting side by side through the last corner. And wow, look how close these guys are as they come down the start-finish line to start the second lap. As we see it's the Terry out in front still. Goes slightly wide there. We've got the Horn Dog chasing down Terry. And look at that battle behind them. That's a battle for third position. So you see Durkee coming up the field. He's now managed to get past Ross. And now chasing down Gerard for that third position. Oh, you see there Ross going wide, so, and also Dylan. So the Green Mambas, copycats of each other, going slightly wide there, missing their braking points. And this is where conditions get tricky, because the track is getting more and more tricky to drive as the rain comes down. There's Marius still down in looks like he's moved up into 5th position, so Marius making great progress at the moment. He's found some great pace and he's now closed down right onto the back of Durkee, and he'll be challenging for that 4th position. In a picture at the moment we have the Horn Dog right behind Terry. And because of that battle out in front, it's now slowed down the pack a bit. As we see Gerard now closing that gap between the two. The Horn Dog now side by side by Terry as they go through this last section into this very sharp 90-degree bend. And we see Terry going very wide there as almost loses sight of the track. And comes back on the track, and then I'm sure he's going to pick up some sort of penalty for that, as now Gerard and Durkee get past him as they now start the second lap. And look at those cars all bunched together. Great racing here this evening, and it looks like Durkee now taking them. We'll see 3 cars going side by side trying to go into the corner. Who's going to make it into the first corner? Let's see who's going to outbrake who. And it looks like Durkee getting into the corner slightly ahead of Terry and making it stick. So a great move there by Durkee, and we'll see Marius trying to follow him on the out. Marius unable to follow these two, as we see Durkee making a fantastic move there on Terry, getting past for that 2nd position. Sorry, 3rd position. And Marius, ooh, look at the rear ends squiggling around, trying to keep control of that BMW. We know it's a rear driven vehicle, so it makes it even more tricky in these conditions to drive that vehicle with the power. As we see Dylan closing that gap between himself and Marius, but Marius getting a good exit on that right-hander and has streamed ahead of the Horn Dog, of Terry, sorry. And just see that BMW's got the legs down the main straight, absolutely flying. Absolutely fantastic racing this evening. Durkee now puts himself into 3rd position. It's the Horn Dog that leads at the moment, followed by Gerard. And will these guys try and take a look at Marius? Started right at the back of the field, already up into 4th position. We've seen the true pace of Marius this evening, as unfortunately he was taken out. Had that incident in the first. Oh, good inside move there from Marius. Looks like Durkee just lost his braking points and braked slightly too late and lost that position now to Marius. Marius going on the curb there, but will Durkee cut down in the inside? So we just see, yes he does. He does manage to get past. And that was Gerard making a move on the Horn Dog, as we see the two cars go side by side down main straights, and almost a copycat right behind them is Gerard and Marius also side by side, but it is the Horn Dog that gets the jump into the first corner and manages to get a move done there, as we see Marius also managed to get past there on Durkee. So good racing all round from all these Alpha tier drivers out in front at the moment. Fantastic to see these guys racing so closely. And the Horn Dog got his mirrors full again as Gerard, and again side by side these two guys go down. Wow, what a great move there by Gerard, managed to getting it done on the outside and back in the lead again. So we've seen the lead change multiple times in this race so far. Seen shot at the moment, or Horn Dog trying to get that slipstream behind Gerard. And looks like the Horn Dog seems to be much better on the braking there through this particular section. We see now Marius join this battle. He'll be wanting to try get the maximum points this evening, as he was unable to capitalize in the first race. Now very close to the Horn Dog, and almost a three-way battle here for that first position. See the Horn Dog getting ever so closely to Gerard, having a good drive out of that final corner. But look at this, look at, ooh, there we see Marius almost going into the back of the Horn Dog there. Wow, what a late breaker there. Almost seemed to have missed his braking point, but lucky managing not to take old the Horn Dog out. But will he get a better drive through this final corner onto the main straight? It looks like he has, and he's now side by side with the Horn Dog as they dice down the drag strip. And let's see who will be able to break into the first corner. So we see Marius got the inside line and makes it stick. So a good overtake maneuver there from Marius. Marius now chasing down the BMW in front. It looks like the BMWs are having a much better race in the wet this evening, as we see BMW 1-2 with Gerard leading at the moment, with Marius, who started right at the back of the field, now gaining and getting ever so closely to the front of the pack, with less than 7 minutes left on the clock. I think it's any man's race still, as we still see the rain coming down, and the race is getting more treacherous as the time goes on. So Marius now coming down the back straight, and doesn't seem to have closed or made any impact on that gap between himself and Gerard just of yet. So perhaps just biding his time. And just look at that gap behind, has already started to increase. So these two out in front are starting to move away from the back of the grid. We see Durkee just seems to have lost a bit of momentum in the second race and picked up some damage from that first lap, where he had a couple of bumps with the guys out in front, and could be struggling a little bit. There we have Dylan down in 5th position at the moment. So a bit of a change from what we saw from the first race in terms of drivers and positions, but that's what makes it exciting. As soon as we do that reverse grid, it just seems to spice things up a bit. As we see now, Marius getting a little bit closer to Gerard here, starting to apply the pressure. And Gerard will be looking at that time and wishing it would count down even faster as they cross the start-finish line, starting this 8th lap. And that gap still just now actually just under a second between Gerard and Marius. But look at these two, these guys are streaming away from the rest of the field, finding a good rhythm and pace at the moment. And it almost seems like these cars are set up better for this particular session. Oh yeah, we have a good battle between, looks like Robert and is that Terry? It is Terry. So there's another BMW showing good pace at this late stage of the race. Robert ahead there, getting slightly sideways as he comes through that corner, and Terry, who had a good start to this race, unfortunately has dropped now down to the back into 7th position. But yeah, we got in front, we got still the battle rages between Marius and Gerard, and it looks like Marius has dropped down, so I wonder if he made a mistake and looks like he's now dropped down into 4th position, so not too sure what happened there. But I'm sure Gerard must be sighing with a bit of relief, as he now has almost 4-second lead to the Horn Dog, who's down in 2nd position at the moment. There we have the leader out in front, and he will then start his 9th lap as he corners the last couple of corners and starts his flying lap. With 3.5 minutes left to go, I'm sure we'll see at least another 2 more laps before the end of this race. There's a man in 2nd position who's just kept his nose clean and out of the mess, so to speak. And he has also a nice gap, but Morris still hunting down that podium as we see him now applying the pressure to Durkee. Much closer this time, we see him going on the inside. Will Morris have a look now as they come through the start section, then onto the long left-hander. Looks like Morris is going to try to go on the inside. He does. And has he made a stick? Whoa, very close. The two drivers get together there, almost making contact. Still side by side as they head down this long straight. And it looked like Morris just gave way there to Durkee, realizing that he had made contact, and just a good sportsman to just let him back through again. But with only less than 2 minutes left on the clock, he's going to have to make it this next move stick. Oh, he gets free late on the brakes then. I almost thought he went to the back of Durkee there, but manages to avoid it. As we see him now looking on the inside of Durkee. But, whoa, that's a very strange... Not too sure what happened there. So it looks like there was a bit of a mistake there by Marius, or the two came together. I'm not 100% sure, but Marius losing a bit of time there and flashing his lights at Durkee. So I'm not 100% sure what happened there, but anyway, they continue to race with, looks like this will be the final lap with less than 50 seconds on the clock. Still out in front, we have Gerard, who now has a 6-second lead, so a very commanding lead there from Gerard out in front, and he just needs to bring this car home to pick up the win for this evening in the second race. So I'm sure he'll still be very tentative around the corners, making sure that he doesn't make any mistakes. I mean, this is not the time to make a mistake. We see Durkee now trying to close that gap on the Horn Dog. But time is running out, and the corners are running out, and the track is running out. So it's the final lap of this Alpha Tier Race 2 this evening. And we have V-Dub Gerard out in front at the moment with a very commanding lead. He can basically just cruise home to crossover in first position. In second, we have the Horn Dog, who's followed closely by Durkee, who hasn't really had a good second race. And it was Morris that I thought would actually pick up the podium, but somewhere along the line, him and Gerard, there was a mistake that was made, and that has dropped him back on to fourth position. I'm sure we'll hear all about it at towards the end of the race. Sorry, after the race. We see now Morris trying to find a way through on the final lap. Yeah, we see Gerard taking the final corner, and he will cross the line and take the first, or take his win for this season, followed by the Horn Dog. And we see looks like Durkee went very wide there. I don't know if he's going to pick up a penalty, but it looks like, look at these two racing to the finish line, neck and neck. And who will finish first? Looks like Morris was unable to get past, and he's still in fourth position. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. A good clean race there from the drivers. Robert carrying home very slowly there in the background. So not sure if he not sure what that was all about. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Gerard picks up the win for this evening in the second race, followed by the Horn Dog, Durkee in third, Morris in fourth, Dylan comes home in fifth, followed by Terry in sixth. Seventh position is Terry Brunt, followed by Craig, Ross, and then Robert.